The world is all that is the case. The world is the totality of facts, not of things. The world is determined by the facts. For the totality of facts determines what is the case, and also whatever is not the case. The facts in logical space are the world. The world divides into facts. Each item can be the case or not the case, while everything else remains the same. What is the case, a fact, is the existence of states of affairs. A state of affairs, or a state of things, is a combination of objects, or things. It is essential to things that they should be possible constituents of states of affairs. In logic, nothing is accidental. If a thing can occur in a state of affairs, the possibility of the state of affairs must be written into the thing itself.
It's a very good day for picking berries.
It would seem to be a sort of accident if it turned out that a situation would fit a thing that could already exist entirely on its own. If things can occur in states of affairs, this possibility must be in them from the beginning. Just as we are quite unable to imagine spatial objects outside space, or temporal objects outside time, so too there is no object that we can imagine excluding from the possibility of combining with others. If I can imagine objects combined in states of affairs, I cannot imagine them excluded from the possibility of such combinations. Things are independent in so far as they can occur in all possible situations, but this form of independence is a form of connection with states of affairs, a form of dependence. If I know an object, I also know all of its possible occurrences in states of affairs. A new possibility cannot be discovered later. If I am to know an object, though I need not know its external properties, I must know all of its internal properties. If all objects are given, then at the same time all possible states of affairs are also given. Each thing is, as it were, in a space of possible states of affairs. This space I can imagine empty, but I cannot imagine the thing without the space. A spatial object must be situated in infinite space. A speck in the visual field, though it may not be red, must have some color. It is, so to speak, surrounded by color space. Notes must have some pitch, objects of the sense of touch some degree of hardness, and so on. Objects contain the possibility of all situations. The possibility of its occurring in states of affairs is the form of an object. Objects are simple. Every statement about complexes can be resolved into a statement about their constituents and into the properties that describe the complexes completely.
If I tell you something, don't answer me or look at me, because I might just give you instruction.
Objects make up the substance of the world.
Does that make sense?
That is why they cannot be composite. If the world had no substance, then whether a proposition had sense would depend on whether other propositions were true.
Yeah, exactly.
In that case, we could not sketch any picture of the world.
And the ones in front of the plant.
It is obvious that an imagined world, how different it may be from the real one, must have something, a form, in common with it. Objects are just what constitute this unalterable form. The substance of the world can only determine a form, and not any material properties.
I want you to sit back
For it
on
is
your
only by
heels
means of propositions that
and then
material
look up
properties are
and
represented,
look around you.
only by the
other
configuration
way.
of objects that they are produced. In a manner of speaking, objects are colorless. If two objects have the same logical form, the only distinction between them, apart from their external properties, is that they are different. Space, time, color, being colored, are forms of objects. There must be objects if the world is to have unalterable form. Objects, the unalterable, and the subsistent are one and the same. Objects are what is unalterable and sustenant. Their configuration is what is changing and unstable. The configuration of objects produces states of affairs. In a state of affairs, objects fit into one another like links of a chain. In a state of affairs, objects stand in a determined relation to one another. The determinate way in which objects are connected in a state of affairs is the structure of the state of affairs. Form is the possibility of structure.
Now.
The structure of a fact consists of the structures of states of affairs. The existence and non-existence of states of affairs is reality. States of affairs are independent of one another. The sum total of reality is the world. We picture facts to ourselves. A picture presents a situation in logical space. A picture is a model of reality. In a picture, objects have the elements of the picture corresponding to them. In a picture, the elements of a picture are the representatives of objects. What constitutes a picture is that its elements are related to one another in a determinate way. A picture is a fact. The fact that the elements of a picture are related to one another in a determinate way represents that things are related to one another in the same way. Let us call this connection of its elements the structure of the picture, and let us call the possibility of this structure the pictorial form of the picture. Pictorial form is the possibility that things are related to one another in the same way that the elements of the picture. Pictorial form is the possibility that things are related to one another in the same way as the elements of the picture. That is how a picture is attached to reality. It reaches right out to it. It is laid against reality like a measure. Only the endpoints of the graduating lines actually touch the object that is to be measured. So a picture conceived in this way also includes the pictorial relationship which makes it into a picture. The pictorial relationship consists of the correlations of the picture's elements with things. These correlations are, as it were, the feelers of the picture's elements with which the picture touches reality. If a fact is to be a picture, it must have something in common with what it depicts. There must be something identical in a picture and what it depicts to enable the one to be a picture of the other at all.
Okay.
What a picture must have in common with reality, in order to be able to depict it, correctly or incorrectly, in the way that it does, is its pictorial form. A picture can depict any reality whose form it has. A spatial picture can depict anything spatial, a color one anything colored, etc. A picture cannot, however, depict its pictorial form. displays it. A picture represents its subject from a position outside it. That is why a picture represents its subjects correctly or incorrectly. A picture cannot, however, place itself outside of its representational form. What any picture, or whatever form, must have in common with reality, or in order for it to be able to depict it, correctly or incorrectly, in any way at all, is logical form, i.e., the form of reality. A picture whose pictorial form is logical form is called a logical picture. Every picture is at the same time a logical one. Logical pictures can depict the world. A picture has a logico-pictorial form in common with what it depicts. A picture depicts reality by representing a possibility of existence and non-existence in states of affairs. A picture represents a possible situation in logical space. A picture contains the possibility of the situation that it represents. A picture agrees with reality or fails to agree. It is correct or incorrect, true or false. What a picture represents, it represents independently of its truth or falsity by means of its pictorial form. What a picture represents is its sense. The agreement or disagreement of its sense with reality constitutes its truth or falsity. In order to tell whether a picture is true or false, we must compare it with reality. It is impossible to tell from the picture alone whether it is true or false. There are no pictures that are true.